Hi, I'm Ed, and I'm going to be doing the sponsorship presentation. Basically, I was a sponsorship rep for a few different societies in the past. I've done sponsorship for a number of big events, including MedSoc and hockey events, and I also did the sponsorship for the Worsley Awards this year, and I'll be showing some of the packages I use for that later. So, the aim of this presentation is to help sponsorship sectors and committees gain sponsorship in a more effective manner. The objectives are to discuss what sponsorship is, to discuss how to go about obtaining it and how to retain sponsors as well. So what is sponsorship, first of all, in a really unbelittling way? I know you all know what sponsorship is, but just like breaking it down makes you think a bit more about how you can go around getting it. So sponsorship doesn't necessarily have to be about money. A sponsor is a partner. It's the same way, they're interchangeable. So anyone who's basically working with you in a symbiotic way, so anyone who you and them working together, you can gain something from each other. That's sponsorship, okay? It's a meeting of minds. It's where two people come together and actually can achieve more together than they can on their own. And like I said, it's a symbiotic thing where you can achieve more together. So how do you go about obtaining sponsorship? There's 3 steps, and you need to keep to these 3 steps because they're the code to how you get sponsorship. And if you nail them, then you will always be successful. So the first one, and the most important one, is preparation. Know exactly what you're doing, and I'm going to go through a lot of that in this presentation. The second one is acquisition. So once you've got all your preparation done, and only then, you then make your first contact, and then you nail your negotiating and your contracts in some situations. And then the third one, which is the easiest one, and the one that you'll really be good at because you're medics and you're nice people, and that's just retaining your sponsors and keeping a good relationship with them. So, preparation, it's an ABC. So, nail this, think objectively. So take yourself a step back when you're thinking about your preparation. Look at your club or society and think, what are we in essence, and therefore who wants to have a partnership with us. So A, consider who and why. So who would be interested in you, and who are you trying to sell to. So the first one there, who you're trying to sell to, anyone, okay? So anyone who you think could be interested in you is someone you want to sell to. And then you need to think, why are they interested in you? So why would someone be interested in you? And I put an example there. So if you took a step back and you're a medic sports club, why are people interested in us and who are we interested in? So so anyone who's interested in sports players or medics are interested in you. And so think about that. So you've really got to think, what is the essence of your club or society? So that's just one example, but think about your club or society. Who are you and why would people be interested in you for the type of person you are and the demographic that your club or society connects to? Because sports players is such a huge role. That could be anyone who sells sports equipment, anyone to do with sport might be interested in promoting you. Medics, again, is a huge one. So anyone to do with medico-legal stuff, anyone who wants to get promoted to medic, any medical equipment stores, all that kind of stuff, they're all interested in you straight away. And so the final one there is, how much do you think you're worth to them? So if you think, actually, yeah, we're going to work really well together, then you know straight away that you're worth something to them. And obviously the ones that you think you might not be worth as much to, you've got to think, are they worth pursuing? And if not, you might actually be better off pursuing some really big ones. So you know there's actually a really good connection there. So what can you sell? So this is quite a big slide, because you can basically sell anything. Think outside the box. I've been so impressed in the past when I've given presentations like this and people have come at the end and had great ideas about what they could sell. So you can sell space on club or society hoodies, on stash, on kits, on leaflets, on flyers, on posters, on prizes and trophies. So even in the past for Varsity, Medics Varsity, we've actually had the Dixie Chicken Trophy and things like that because they sponsor that trophy, and that's how we went about getting money from them. You can sponsor programs, you can get gifts that have logos on as well, or get certain people to donate gifts, which means that's a sort of sponsorship. Lanyards, banners, websites, you can even get people to pay for you to retweet them nowadays. Email footers, Facebook, and also any of the really big ones you really want to nail are opportunities to speak at events. So if you're running an event and you can actually get a sponsor to come along, they'll pay big money for that, or to have a stall at an event. So every year when we run the MSRC sponsorship fair, we have a load of sponsors come down who want to chat to medics, and they'll pay big money for that, to have a captive audience of medics. So really think outside the box, and just have a discuss with the rest of your committee, because they might have some really good ideas. They might even have some connections to people who might be able to sponsor you as well. So how much? This is something that people really struggle with. How much do you go in with? How much are you going to ask people straight away? So you've identified who we're going to sell to. We know what we're going to sell to them now, but how much are we going to say? And the main advice I'd say is have a rough idea of initial amounts and ask people from previous years. That's the best thing you can do. So how much did NPS give us last year? How much did Redison give us last year? And then go from that and work out what people sold them last year and what you could now sell them, and whether you should be upscaling that or downscaling that. And think about costs and packages. So later on I'll chat about packages. Later on here. So this is the sponsorship packages I put together for the Worsley Awards. And this is my personal best way of doing it in my mind, because it makes you look slick, it makes you look really professional if you have packages, and it's not difficult, it's just a list. So the bronze sponsors, they paid £150 each, and they got their logo on promotional material, including flyers, Facebook and emails. The silver sponsors paid £300, and they got their logo on all the things that bronze got. They also got their logo on the programme of special thanks, and they got tickets to the event for representatives, and they also got banners displayed. The gold sponsors, which we had one of, who paid £500, and they got their logo on all promotional material, including flyers, Facebook and emails. They also got all the things above, basically. They got tickets to the event for reps, they got special thanks in the programme, they got a banner display. They also got they're going to get a special mention at the awards, and because they're there, they're actually going to be allowed to present an award as well, which gives them a chance to talk as well. And they also got their logo on the individual gifts, which are the certificates themselves, and they also got their logo on the colours gifts as well. So that's really important. And because there was one of them as well, something else which is another tip of mine is, if you do have one person who's clearly really interested in you, make them feel special. So they were our key sponsor, so our headline sponsor. Use words like that to make people feel like they're your head sponsor and you're the ones that you're going to be promoting them the most out of everyone, and we are going to be doing that, so that's a really good way to go about it. So initial contact, don't stress, this is always really fine. You need to email or call, because those are the two easiest ways to do it. Make it clear who you are, that you'd like to form a partnership, and why you'd be interested, why you might be of interest to the company. Don't give any details yet, is my personal advice. So I'd say arrange a meeting or carry on emailing them. So I just said that first initial one, just keep those first ones. So say, hi, I'm so-and-so, emailing you on behalf of XYZ. We'd really be interested in making a partnership with you because of these reasons. And you might be interested in us because we are a big society, we have a lot of events, whatever that reason is. Make sure you really nail those, but you have already done that because you've done the preparation really well. And then if you do have meetings, I'd say meetings or follow-up emailing, it's up to you what you want to do. I'd say big sponsors, try and go for the meeting because it's important. If you are doing follow-up emailing, that's absolutely fine as well. And I'd say you can't meet every sponsor. If you're doing a big event, you've got 20 sponsors, you can't be having meetings all the time. Then you do get free lunches a lot of the time, so the meetings are good. But make sure, if you do have a meeting, you dress appropriately, you're on time, and you look professional. Negotiating. So whether it be over email or via a meeting, you need to be keeping these key rules. So communication. Always get back, even if you're getting back to the sponsor by saying, I'm really sorry, I'm going to have to think about that. At least they know where you're at. Don't ever leave them hanging. Be aware of what the sponsor wants out of the relationship. So because you've done your preparation, you've done this, but know how much you're worth to them. Know what they want from you. So that's really important. I think that's where people fall down, actually, because often people will be going down one route and saying, oh, but do you not want all these things we've offered in our packages? And actually the sponsors want something slightly differently. So be flexible and know what they want, and be really upfront about it. What do you want from us? Be professional, really important. Provide value for money. So if you go too high, then they're going to not be interested. If you go too low, obviously you're underselling yourselves. So really make sure that you provide value for money. Promote why your event or your society is a really good one to follow, whether it be because you've got loads of members, or you're really active, or you're really you have a big following on Facebook or something like that. Make sure you promote why you're really important to the sponsor. And like I said before, use packages. I think it creates a really nice framework. And though I said be flexible, at least it gives you a framework to work from. So if sponsors come back and say, actually, oh, we don't want all the things in silver, but we do want to sponsor you this amount, but in return we also want X, Y, Z, at least you've got a baseline. So we're going to go through contracts. So I know this is something a lot of societies don't do. I'd say that for big events or big sponsorship contracts, I'd say do it because it kind of gives you a bit of peace of mind, but you can't be doing contracts for everything. But when you do your contracts, it seems like a daunting task to do, but it's literally a two-sided agreement where you say, we've agreed to do this, and you agree to do this, and then you sign, and that is it. Essential things to include are what each side is agreeing to, as I said, your rights and obligations, so if people can pull out of the deal or if people can't pull out, what people are obliged to do. So for example, once I've made a sponsorship deal with XYZ, I have to keep to the packages that I promised them, so I have to put their logo on things and stuff like that. Work out the amount of money and how they're going to pay it. So a lot of sponsors will normally just give you a one-off payment, but for MedSoc, for example, we actually do a whole year sponsorship package for a number of different groups, and they then pay it in two instalments, so that we kind of still have to keep working with them all the way through, but at the same time we can't let them down because we need that second instalment later in the year. And then work out the termination terms, so when one group can get out of this contract, and sign it each. And really important, because that's a really fast way to go through it, and you're going to have to go elsewhere if you want to make a contract to get a few more details. But I would say a really good place to go is Leeds University Union. Their advice centre will help you with contracts, and also the DevCo team will help you with contracts as well. And finally, retention, really important. How are you going to maintain a relationship? So like I said, this is the bit you guys are going to be good at because you've got really good communication skills. So how are you going to maintain it personally or for your club or society? So one thing that I'd say is obviously if you're working with medico legal sponsors, or even if you're a sports club working with sports, it's a big related to sports companies, you might actually be interested personally in keeping a relationship there because you might have a specific interest in that. Medico-legal companies, we're all going to need a connection with them at some point. So how are you going to maintain that relationship? But also for your club and society, it's really important. So how are you going to make sure that you're going to hand over to the next sponsorship sec a really good relationship with that sponsor? I've even known people go to the extent of sending Christmas cards to their sponsors, and I find that if you have regular communication and you are meeting with the big sponsors every now and then you are going to keep a good relationship. What's in store for your future relationship? So I think it's really important to evaluate after every big sponsorship deal, what could I have done better there? Could I have got more out of it? Could they have got more out of it? And what do I want to hand over to the next sponsorship sec about that relationship and how it can be developed? And finally, during your handover, like I said, reflect on your relationship. Could you have asked for more? Is there anything else you would have done differently? So that's really important. And that's everything. Thank you very much. If you've got any feedback on this presentation or on any of the presentations, feed it back to MSRC or specifically to MSRC Societies or MSRC Sports Rep. Thank you very much.